In the social media reaction genre, silly comments are considered especially heinous. At Dear Woke Christian, the dedicated content creators who investigate these horrible comments are members of an elite squad known as the Dusty Comments Unit. These are their stories.
Grace and peace, everybody. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. You want to know what it's about. Fani Willis is catching yet another L. Let's go bring it in. Let's talk about it. Let's go. Judge orders Trump prosecutors to dish in collusion case. Let's keep it going. Let's make this a little bit bigger so everybody can see. Make it a little bit bigger. How about that? I don't think it's working. How about that? Let's make that a little bit, zoom in a little bit more. There we go. All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's go. So again, Trump orders prosecutors to dish in collusion case. A federal judge has ordered the Justice Department to turn over communications between ex-Trump prosecutor Jack Smith and President Trump's, and the president's Georgia antagonist, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, in what a legal watchdog group has called a case of collusion. The order from the U.S. District Judge Dabney Frederick followed the end of Smith's 2020 election interference case against President Trump and Smith's own resignation from the special prosecutor role. Judicial Watch had sought the communications in the Freedom of Information Act lawsuit, but has been stalled by Smith and Justice, claiming that disclosing any information would hurt the prosecution. Frederick, based in Washington, said since there's no longer a case, turning over the documents won't jeopardize any case. Oh my gosh. In his January 28th order, he wrote, since the DOJ filed its motion for summary judgment and supporting declaration in March 2024, the special counsel's criminal enforcement actions have been terminated. The case are closed, not pending, or contemplated, and therefore are not proceedings with which disclosure may interfere. Thus, the agency's sole justification for invoking its glamour doctrine under exemption 7A is no longer applicable. All right, so here is the actual court filing. It's about 4 pages. We can kind of breeze through it very quickly, maybe hit some of the salient points here. We know that this is Judicial Watch versus the Department of Justice. It's always wild. Judicial Watch, Inc. brings this action against the U.S. Department of Justice under the Freedom of Information Act. Before the court are the defendant's motions for summary judgment and Judicial Watch's cross motion for summary judgment. For the reasons that follow, the court will deny the defendant's motion and grant plaintiff's cross motion. In November 2022, Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed Jack Smith to serve as special counsel, overseeing 2 criminal investigations concerning 1, interference in the 2020 presidential election and the certification of the Electoral College vote on January 6, 2021, and to the storage and handling of classified documents in the presidential records. And then we see that document right there. Let's keep going. What else? Let's get to the findings. So this is all why you should. We appreciate him for why you should. Thank you so much for telling us why we should. Oh, let's just get to the conclusion. I love it. Oh, since the DOJ filed a motion for summary judgment and supporting declaration in March 2024, the special counsel's criminal enforcement actions have been terminated. We talked about that. The cases are closed, not pending or contemplated, and therefore are not proceedings with which disclosure may interfere. Citizens, and we already know that already. Thus, the agency's sole justification for invoking the Glamour Doctrine under Exemption 7A is no longer applicable. Accordingly, the court will deny DOJ's motion for summary judgment and grant the plaintiff's cross motion. DOJ is directed to process the plaintiff's FOIA request and either disclose any responsive records or establish both that their contents and exemptions are exempt from disclosure, and that such exemptions has not also been waived. Conclusion. For the foregoing reason, it is ordered that the defendant's motion for summary judgment, we got that, and the plaintiff's cross motion for summary judgment the plaintiff's motion is denied. Let me start that again. The defendant's motion is denied. The plaintiff's motion is granted. It is further ordered that the parties shall meet and confer and be on or before February 21st, 2025, file a joint status report, 1, updating the court on the status of the plaintiff's FOIA request, and 2, proposing a schedule for further proceedings. So ordered. Dabney Frederick. Good job. And I'm going to leave this down in the description as well, so you can definitely check it out. Got a few more paragraphs. Let's just knock it out. He added, accordingly, the court will deny DOJ's motion for summary judgment and grant plaintiff's cross motion. We already read that. DOJ is directed to process the plaintiff's FOIA request and either disclose any responsive records or establish both that their clients are exempt from disclosure and that such exemptions has not been waived. He explained that the glamour doctrine applies when conforming or denying the existence of records would itself cause harm or in a case. Judicial Watch has been seeking communications between Smith's office and Fulton County District Attorney's Office requesting or receiving federal funds or other federal assistance in any federal or rather form relating to the investigation of Trump and the others in the 2020 election case. The group also sought any other communications between the two. The stalling angered Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton, who said President Trump truly needs to overhaul the Justice Department from top to bottom. It is a scandal that the federal court had to order the Justice Department to admit the truth that their objections to producing records about collusion with Fani Willis had no basis in reality. Trump's team has been looking into cases former President Joe Biden's Justice Department brought against the former and current president. It is unclear what may be in communications, though Judicial Watch has alleged collusion. The Georgia judge has already ordered Willis to turn over the communications with Smith to Judicial Watch. She's also had to pay $20,000. Actually, it's more than $20,000 in Judicial Watches cover their legal fees. All right. So that is the end of that. Like I said, Fani Willis is having this has not been a good 2025 for her. Let's see what happens the rest of the year. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this. Do you think that the case is finally coming to an end now that the word collusion has entered the chat? Tell me what you think. If you stayed around to the end, why don't you just leave me a wonderful emoji of your choice. Let me know that you made it all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. All of your encouragement means a lot. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.